Proud to serve North TV 16, the news station. Now, Nolan Johannes, Karen Harch, Jack Ruland in Skycam 16, meteorologist Tom Clark with his backyard forecast, and Tim Carlson Sports. This is Newswatch 16.
Good evening. I'm Nolan Johannes. Karen Harch has this day off. Some cities hard-pressed for tax dollars are now looking on the other side of the fence where they think the grass is greener. Some say non-profit churches, schools, and hospitals should be taxed for city services. Newswatch 16's Bob Reynolds went to Lancaster today where elected officials are crying for tax reform.
The mayors, councilmen, and others are talking about all the problems their communities face. But the most pressing seems to be tax reform. Some say non-profit groups are gobbling up taxable properties too fast.
We have about 47% tax-exempt properties in the city of Lock Haven.
Some say the idea of taxing non-profit groups has worked in other areas of the country, such as Denver, Colorado.
In my town, they're doing a good deal of work, for example, on the problems of the homeless that the city can't afford to address. It may take other forms in other parts of the country.
We need to start taxing those people that tax our services. And that's really all it is a municipal service types of tax.
The University of Scranton does provide money in lieu of taxes, but it's on a voluntary basis. All the other non-tax producing properties, non-profit organizations that do own property, are not contributing anything to our tax base.
But others say forcing the issue with hospitals, churches, and schools is not the way to go.
I think that the local officials know the organizations better than the state legislators outside the area, and I believe that this would perhaps maybe create another unmanageable bureaucracy.
Those who favor some sort of a tax on schools, hospitals, and churches say they know it's a very emotional and volatile issue. But they also claim that unless some type of a law is passed, those who do pay their fair share in taxes will be taxed even more. Bob Reynolds, Newswatch 16, Dauphin County.
Workers for the EPA are taking soil samples in Troop today. They want to test for possible lead contamination. 10 years ago, officials found higher than normal lead levels in that Lackawanna County town. They said it came from a nearby battery reprocessing plant that has since closed. Officials want to know if there is still a lead problem in Troop. High levels of lead can cause brain damage. When Newswatch 16 continues, more concerns about AIDS. We'll tell you what the Surgeon General has to say today. Plus, later on, a return to the 50s that spells success for a new diner in Center County.
Whether you're building or remodeling, shop Mariotti Lumber in Old Forge. Right now, save on energy-efficient benchmark entrance doors and side lights, stained glass or deep embossed designs in hundreds of styles. Save, too, on world-famous roof windows from Roto. Let in more light with fixed or ventilating windows in 8 sizes. And storage problems with sliding attic ladders. On sale, too. For home products from Roto and Benchmark, buy where the builders buy. Mariotti Lumber Company, Old Forge.
Next to low prices, clothing is our claim to fame.
Like Lee jeans for men, discounted every day at Hills. A huge selection, one of the biggest anywhere. Great gifts for Father's Day. Here's just one example, Lee Stonewash Storm Riders. You could pay more elsewhere, but Hills price $16.97 every day. That's an exceptional value at Hills.
Hills is great for Father's Day gifts.
Surgeon General C. Everett Koop says scientists just don't know yet how much of a threat AIDS is to the general population. He says that AIDS might explode through the heterosexual community as it did among homosexuals. Koop added if people listen to his safe sex message, the spread might be limited. The Surgeon General's comments were made this morning on ABC's Good Morning America. Koop says most hospital workers are not at risk, but there's one big exception, surgeons.
Surgeons who deal with patients who might be HIV positive and run a needle through their finger, which I have done as a surgeon, or stick themselves with a knife, which I have also done, are at great risk.
That risk has become reality for a dentist in New York who now has AIDS. The unidentified man apparently picked up the disease while on the job and is the only dentist reported to have become infected from contact with a patient. The dentist says he never engaged in risky behavior such as intravenous drug use or homosexuality. The deadly disease AIDS will be the topic of discussion on an expanded 4-hour version of ABC's Nightline tonight. The open-ended program can be seen here on Channel 16 right after the Newswatch 16 update at 11. A Scranton viewer says the summer's looking brighter now that she can use her patio furniture. She says before she contacted Jerry Gartenberg on Action 16, she paid a store more than $300 for something she had no chance to enjoy.
I was afraid to sit on this side. I'd sit on that side, and then maybe she'd sit on a chair.
But now Dorothy Kelch of Scranton and her sister do not have to worry when they cool off under the shade of this outdoor furniture. That's now that Rave's Garden Center in Chinchillas replaced a broken wheel on the furniture. Kelch says she discovered the broken wheel last July when the patio set was about 3 months old. She tells me she felt like a broken record after trying over the next 8 months to get the company to turn things around.
I wasn't getting anywhere.
What would happen when you tried to get somewhere?
I have it. I'll send it down. And that can get kind of frustrating when you're expecting something to be done and it's not done. Don't you think?
Kelch, as a company representative, was always courteous but never told her what he told me, that he couldn't get the wheel because his supplier was having financial problems, and that had the Lackawanna County woman preferred not to wait, he would have been happy to give her her money back. But after my letter, the company representative rounded out a simple solution. He had the broken wheel replaced with a wheel from a new patio set that had come into the store. Dorothy Kelch says the 10-minute job will brighten her days tenfold. So what are you going to do out here on the porch this summer, under the shade?
I'm going to sit out and enjoy it now.
Well, I'm glad. And also happy that, in the end, Rave's Garden Center came up with a way to get to the bottom of the problem. Now, remember, if you feel you have been waiting too long to settle a consumer hassle, it's really up to you to tell, say, a company representative what you'd like to have done and when. But if you still find yourself spinning your wheels, send a letter to me, Jerry Gartenberg, right here at Action 16. That's at Box 16 in Avoca, Pennsylvania, 18641. Nolan?
Thank you, Jerry. The Weather Watch is next with meteorologist Brian Orzel in for Tom Clark. And Brian, I hope that top-notch forecast I heard last night from Tom is holding up.
Well, Nolan, I have to admit there's a little bit of tarnish showing up on our sterling weekend. I'll return to the backyard to tell you when it might shower this weekend on the Weather Watch. You're watching Newswatch 16 on WNEP TV, and we're proud to serve Pleasant Valley and all of Monroe County.
Believe it or not, dogs actually know what's good for them. That's why they like Dad's. Since your dog is a natural meat eater, Dad's Meal and Chunks begin with quality meat base, balanced with cereals, vitamins, and minerals. These ingredients are important to you, but all he cares about is the taste. Give your dog a taste test. If he's not satisfied, I'll buy the package back. Right, Toby?
Pomeroy's Summer White Sale is going on now. Pomeroy's is bursting with values. Save 20 to 33% on this Crosel bed ensemble. Martex and Fieldcrest percale sheets, twin just $6.99 and $9.99. Designer Super Kales from Springmade in Wamsutta, twin $9.99 and $12.99. From Martex and Fieldcrest, bath-sized towels just $6.99 and $9.99. Custom ordered chairs 20 to 40% off. And more than $300 off any 3 pieces in this Broyhill wall system. It's going on now. The Summer White Sale at Pomeroy's.
In Lackawanna County, they broke ground today for the new $10 million home of WNEP-TV. This television station will be the first building to be put up across from the valley of the Montage Mountain, and a new office park to be named after former Governor Bill Scranton. Governor Robert Casey also came to Music today for the dedication and groundbreaking, as did Congressman Joe McDade. WNEP expects to move into the finished building in early 1989, just over 2 years from now. The 123-acre office park is planned for 9 office buildings and a hotel. Our president and general manager, Eldon Hale, and Frank Roberts, vice president of our parent company, the New York Times, each broke the ground on the new Channel 16 site today. All right, we're on our way. Let's find out about how far we're going for this weekend. What is this about a shower, Brian?
Well, Nolan, we could see a shower later on this weekend. I think half the weekend is going to be nice and half, well, I'll be talking more about that in a second. Sun-filled skies right now throughout northeastern and central Pennsylvania. Azure blue color. And my weather watcher, Joyce Stevens in Wyalusing, reports in with 74 degrees. Matthew Perkowski in Mifflinburg down in Union County says 79, a few puffy clouds outside his window. And Harold Green in Slatington says 82 at his place now. In the Channel 16 backyard, temperature 73 degrees, humidity down low 38%. Northwest wind at 11 miles per hour and the barometer falling. High today, 73 degrees, 52 the low last night, very close to normal, 79 degrees. 1 year ago today with some heavy thunderstorms which deposited an inch and a half of rain. And on the satellite image from today, a lot of dark green showing up indicating clear skies over much of the country. Just a strip of clouds over upstate New York, a couple of light showers up there. There's a weak front up there which is going to be washing out during the night tonight. I don't expect any precipitation over Pennsylvania. Some heavy thunderstorms down over the southern part of the United States. So the forecast for tonight, I'm looking for a cool moonlit night. Watch for the stars, I should say the planets, Mercury and Mars in the northwestern skies later on this evening. 42 for the low temperature at Shunk. Most areas will top out in the upper 40s. If you're heading out later on this evening, you might want to take along a jacket because temperatures will drop into the 50s after midnight tonight. Sunrise time for tomorrow then, June 6th, D-Day, 5:32, and the sunset, 8:34. And the complete Weather Watch forecast coming up. We'll have clear skies, moonlit tonight, 47 for the low temperature. Another gorgeous day tomorrow, 74 degrees for the high temperature. A few high clouds later on in the afternoon, and then mostly cloudy tomorrow night and Sunday, maybe a shower, 69 for the high temperature, and sunny and 80 on Monday. I'll tell you what, Nolan, this is a small consolation, but we do need some rain. I know there's a lot of farmers out there and backyard gardeners who would like to see some showers on Sunday.
I'm one of them. Not very good at it, but we need the rain anyway.
Have a good one, Nolan.
Okay, we'll see you in the update. Well, our high-powered substitutes continue. Al, the auction writer, in next for Tim Carlson on the Sports Watch with today's semifinal results from the French Open. Plus, the return of Dwight Gooden. Dr. K, ready to go tonight for the Mets.
Mom, you have got to talk to your son.
You mean your brother, Timmy?
Don't tell the neighbors we're related.
What's wrong?
I never get any mayor's bread. He snacks it all up.
So that's what happened to the other loaf.
No, I hid it. He hates vegetables. He'd never look in here.
Clever, Jenny. I trust you bring that same ingenuity to your schoolwork.
Mayors, the baker of breads that everyone likes.
This is one part of the great outdoors everyone should see. Clean, clear, and refreshing as a Genesee beer. Jenny's a premium beer, naturally brewed for smoother taste.
And you can't beat nature.
Right.
The great outdoors in a glass, Genesee beer.
Jenny Light is 10 times better than any other light beer I've ever tasted. The taste is great. It tastes rich. Light or not, bar none, it's a great tasting beer, Jenny Light.
Al, the auction writer, reminds us the Mets have been in kind of trouble lately.
Yes, Bubba Hader's out for the year. Aguilera's been hurt. They need Dwight Gooden. Mets are only 25-25, which is way off of last year's. That's the bad news. The good news is the Mets only 6 games behind the Cardinals and starting tonight. Dwight Gooden is back in the starting rotation. Sellout crowds expected at Shea Stadium tonight as Gooden makes his 87 debut against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Gooden started the season in a New York City drug and alcohol center where he was treated for cocaine abuse. Then he started to come back by pitching 26 innings in the Mets minor league system. He went through a closed 30-minute workout yesterday. Mets were happy with the way he looked, but tonight is when the real pressure mounts. We'll have highlights at 11 o'clock. Well, one of the more popular former football coaches from one of the more popular universities is in town today, and one of the more popular sportscasters from the area, Sports Watch 16's Tom Tidy, is standing by live to tell us all about it. Tom?
Now, that's what I like about you. You don't lie. That's good. The popular university is Notre Dame. The popular coach, Ara Parseghian. Ara, thanks for being with us. You've made the switch from being a successful football coach now up into national broadcasting booth. How?
Well, I'm not so sure it's been successful, but I've really enjoyed it. No, it was an opportunity for me. I'd left coaching. I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do. The networks did call and asked me to do some color. I said no, I wouldn't do it the first year because I was too close to the game. And I was with ABC for about 6 years. Now I've been CBS, I guess, now for about 6 years. And it's been a fun thing for me to do, continue to identify with the college game.
How hard was it to coach at Notre Dame? It's the probably the toughest university when it comes to wins and losses, as opposed to Jerry Faust could tell you that.
Well, I think winning and losing at any university is difficult because you have the supporters. The difference being at Notre Dame is that when I was at Northwestern, geographically there was a lot of interest in about 500 miles. But at Notre Dame, it was international practically, certainly national. Coast to coast, they wanted to know what Notre Dame was doing. And I would say offhand that the fact that it's a religious institution, academic institution with a religious affiliation, brings a lot of interest.
What was your brightest and happiest memory from coaching at Notre Dame?
Well, I would think probably the 1973 national championship when we beat Alabama in the Sugar Bowl by the overwhelming margin of 24-23. But it did win the national championship for us in an undefeated season.
Hey, being here in the heart of Penn State country, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, well, congratulations to Penn State, too.
Okay, Era, thanks a lot. And Albie, we'll have more tonight on the Update at 11. This is Tom Tidy, live with the Instacam in Scranton.
Thank you, Tom, and I'm convinced that Era Parsegian with that tux could have been in our telethon last week. He looked good. Top-seeded Yvonne Lendl advanced into Sunday's men's final at the French Open. Today, Lendl beat fellow Czechoslovakian Miroslav Mature in straight sets, the final 6-3, 6-3, and 7-6. And with that, Lendl moves on to the French Open final for the 4th year in a row. In the title match, he'll go up against Sweden's Mats Wilander, who you see on the top of your screen here. Today, Wilander beat Boris Becker of West Germany. The finals in that match, 6-4, 6-1, and 6-2. The women's championship will be tomorrow. Martina and Steffi Graf will play for that. Martina's the top seed. We'll have highlights tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Last night, the LA Lakers beat Boston by 19 points, and the Lakers now have a 2-0 lead in the best-of-7 NBA championship series. But I'll tell you what, that score doesn't even tell the story. This game was over after one quarter. LA's Michael Cooper, a playoff record with 6 3-pointers, and if the Celtics are going to repeat as world champs, they'll have to win 4 of the next 5.
You know, it's tough to come back when you're down two games, and we got 3 at Boston, and the pressure's on us. There's no question about that, and we're going to play a lot better than we have.
I think we're peaking at the right time. We got everything going, and everybody is into it.
Girls State softball tournament today, AA, 2 scores. Daniel Boone 9, Elk Lake 8, and Myers gets knocked out of the tournament. Minersville beats them 3-2. Tomorrow's the Belmont. Ali Sheba is the favorite at 8-5. That's Ali Sheba, not Albie Sheba. I'm picking the Celtics in a comeback.
Uh-oh.
I'm really out on a limb. They're going to win it in 7 games.
All right. Well, we'll remind everybody that you said that, Al.
All right.
See you in the update. When Newswatch 16 continues, a 50s diner makes its return. The Black Cows are ready. Bobby Darin is wailing on the jukebox. We'll take you to State College next.
Here's Joe Amato, top fuel champion and president of A&A Auto Parts.
Driving my top fuel dragster at speeds up to 270 miles per hour, I lay my life on the line. I need the best name brand parts available, so I rely on A&A Auto Parts stores for the highest quality parts at the lowest prices.
Our popular Rain Dance car wax on sale for $3.98 after manufacturer mail-in rebate.
A&A Auto Parts. If I can rely on them, so can you.
See an A&A Auto Parts store near you.
When America was young, beer was something special, brewed in small batches by small brewers all across the land. Only one remains, Yuengling. That's right, 5 generations of the Yuengling family have been helping us quench our thirst since 1829. What a tradition. What a great beer. America's oldest is still America's best. Yuengling.
Finally tonight, it's brand new, but it goes back to an era older than many of the customers it's serving. A 1950s-style diner has opened up in State College, and it's a big hit with students of the 80s. We sent Newswatch 16's Dan Fiorucci to Center County to check out Baby's Diner.
At lunchtime, the line goes right outside the door.
Split splash, I was taking a bath.
Inside, it looks and sounds just like the 50s.
Rubbed up, just relaxing in the tub, thinking everything was all right.
This is Baby's, a 50s-style diner at State College that attracts adolescents of all ages.
I like the atmosphere a lot. It's nice to be able to step off the streets and come back into the 50s.
Okay, what are you going to have today?
All the waitresses dress in 50s outfits, chew gum, and practice being snotty with the customers.
All right, eat and get out, all right? Sit down, why don't you, all right? Let's dance.
Behind the grill where the burgers sizzle, the vice president of Baby's says this place is a $350,000 investment that paid off.
I think we've hit on the hottest concept in the country right now, which is back to the 50s, free and easy times, and burgers, and just a good home-cooked meal.
Laura! Of course, some things have changed since the 50s. Bazooka bubblegum now costs 3 cents, and Coke certainly doesn't cost a dime.
But other things never change, like the timeless appeal of James Dean and the beat of rock and roll. And of course, there's the timeless appeal of Babies itself, which has been famous since 1987. Dan Fiorucci, Newswatch 16, State College.
I wonder if the waitresses get 1950s tips. That's Newswatch 16 for Friday. For the team, good night.